What was your name again?
Memo. Like a memo pad?
Like a Memo pad. Memo.
That's what everybody knows me as. Radio transmission comes over, playing hits. It wasn't until plane 2 hit, I'll be honest, I knew right away we were under attack. As soon as I turned the corner to where you can actually see ground zero, where the rubble was, I mean, there's really no words to describe the stuff that you saw and just kind of the carnage, but it was one of those things where it was surreal. It's just like you felt like you were on a movie set, and it was just mixed emotions. You were angry, you were helpless, you were hopeful at the same time. You know, you were just, it was just a mixture of emotions.
An Arizona visitor is being recognized for risking his life to save a stranger while on vacation here.
I was in Hawaii for my son's soccer tournament.
Guillermo Arrubla has some scratches after his trip to Spitting Caves with his son yesterday.
She tried to climb up on the rocks. The current, basically the waves crashed on her, and then the current pulled her back out.
He says her friend unsuccessfully tried to save her. Meanwhile, the current had pushed the woman 75 to 100 yards out to sea. While the woman clung to a beach ball that was tossed to her, Arrubla put on one of the vests and went in.
So a lot of people with the cell phones out, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and watch a young girl drown. You know, my whole life growing up as a child, it was always, you know, there's a safe room. You know, if somebody drives by the house, you know, there was several attempts on our family. So, you know, it's kind of always a panic mode. You know, anytime I saw something, it was like, oh, is this it? Are we going to get killed? Are we going to get kidnapped? So it was just like this restlessness. I was young. I was about 9 years old. My cousin, who I idolized, had got murdered because of the cartel ties. He got murdered. He was 17 years old at the time. He was on his way to school. They tried to kidnap him. He tried to fight the kidnappers off, and they shot him in the head. That very same evening, Detective Stevenson from NYPD, whom I never exchanged any words with, he came to the house, you know, to obviously go over some of the things that were going to take place in the investigation. It wasn't until that Detective Stevenson showed up at my house that for the first time in my life, in my young life, that I felt, wow, somebody's going to rescue me and our family from this. And it was at that moment that I said, you know what, I want to become that for my family. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a police officer. There was a point in time when my father was in prison. My mom and I were living out of her a station wagon. But it was, we lived out of the car, and this guy, you know, when my mom was panhandling, he gave her this little piano, and not like little, just do, re, mi, fa, so they just had the scale. So I started playing that. It was just kind of my outlet to just the everyday life that we were living at the time. Fast forward, I really got into music, but how hip-hop culture, I feel, saved my life in terms of now as a teenager, because I got started at such a young age, and to kind of almost live out my cousin's legacy, I really got serious into it, which then opened a lot of doors for me in college to doing the backup dancing, doing performances for MTV and things like that. So it was really amazing, and it was a world that I never thought I'd ever get to explore or know. So what I decided to do is create a program where the future meets the past. So I took that hip-hop culture and I said, you know what, let me take technology and intertwine the two. So that's ultimately what I created, which is called Beat Street AZ. And for anybody that's a hip-hop head, Beat Street is an old movie in the 80s that was focused on hip-hop, hence why I named it that. So it's one where I teach, through graffiti, I teach graphic design. Through MCing, I teach effective communication. Through DJing, I teach music production and engineering, a lot of the things that I learned in those studios. And then through breakdancing, which I don't really breakdance, obviously not now, I'll break something if I did. But through hip-hop dance, we teach them the importance of fitness and nutrition. Now what do? Do I take that victory lap and hit the tunnel? Or do I stay out on the field and help out the rest that are ready to play the next game? So to me, it's all about that. And I will say we don't do a lot of the things for recognition, and I truly appreciate Geneva for what they've done, you know, honoring myself and the rest of the nominees for as heroes. But truly, you know, it's a quick reminder that there are people that are watching and that do appreciate what we do day in and day out. So with that being said, I'll take no more time, and thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Wait. You're not done yet. So what Guillermo does not know is he's not a finalist for Hero of the Year. He is our actual Hero of the Year. Our employees have been donating to the Hero Fund, and there's a $5,000 grant towards your youth organizations that you've created. Additionally, we've been selling t-shirts through this entire event, and we've raised another $3,000 towards your organizations. Thank you for all you do for the community. We're very proud to have you. Oh, 10,000.
Should I just stay on stage?
Stay on stage. You're making that money.